We'll go ahead and call the Ellis County Commission meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Donna, please note, actually, we're going to have you call the roll tonight for the final time for my two fellow commissioners, if you would, please.
Commissioner Marcy McClellan.
Here.
Commissioner Barbara K. Rossinger.
Here.
Chair Commission Dean Hazelhorse.
Present.
All present.
Thank you, Donna. Any changes to the order of the meeting this evening, ladies?
I don't have any.
No changes filled. Barb?
Nope.
Seeing none.
We're good.
Prior minutes, 15th of canvass, 20th a recount of a canvass, and December 17th. Marcy, all
I think they're all okay.
And I wasn't part of it, so.
they stand approved as presented.
Okay.
Next item, consent agenda, items A through G. I'd like a motion, please.
Move that we approve the consent agenda items A through G as presented.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second, Donna. No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Issues from persons not on the order of business this evening. Do we have anyone? Got a nice gathering, surely someone? No? Thinking about it? Introduction of new employees. Do we have any new employees this evening? Don't think so. No? Next item, 2019 county agreement to treat noxious weeds for the Kansas Department of Transportation. Mr. Gary Haas, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Gary Haas. I'm the weed control supervisor for the county. As you know, the county takes care of the spraying on like 183 and I-70 and the state yards for KDOT and their radio tower sites. And each year we're offered a contract to do so, and we kind of review our costs and come to you with it then. We had raised our prices in 2017. We stayed the same last year, and looks like we should be able to stay the same this year. We're $32 an hour for a man and $36 an hour for the larger truck and $32 for the pickups. So we'd like to do that again.
Any questions for Gary, ladies? Kind of same as last year?
It's about the same as last year, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
It is.
Do you think this is a fair price?
Yeah.
Okay.
It works out. And we use the same prices in for the city of Hayes and the city of Ellis and even the private spraying we do, and try to,
Okay.
seems to work.
Say. I move that the commission approve the 2019 Kansas Department of Transportation Bureau of Maintenance County Agreement to treat noxious weeds and contract, and authorize the commission chair to sign.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Donna, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is advanced practice registered nurse position. Carrie?
Kerry McHugh, Ellis County Health Services. Good evening.
Evening.
You have before you a job description for the advanced practice RN. As you know, we've been talking about this since really the preparation of the 18 budget, and during the 19 budget was actually put into the budget for 19, so those dollars are there. The job description that you have before you was a combination of our current format. I also sent to some other counties that have nurse practitioners to look at their descriptions and kind of melded all the above into one job description, and then presented that to our county administrator, and he touched it up, and so you see it tonight. Currently, the nurse practitioner is seeing folks on a contractual basis in our office on Mondays and Thursdays. It's been positive, and we'd like to continue the practice, but bring that individual on as a full-time position, or make the position full-time and not 2 days a week, ultimately.
The question I have is, I thought this was a good idea to try, but I thought you'd give us some numbers on how
Okay.
she's basically paid for her services, the services that she's provided, and what kind of financial impact this had. That's, I'm a little disappointed that's not included.
Okay. When we moved, right before we moved, we sent our revalidation papers in. So what that means is every year we have to or every 5 years, we have to revalidate with Medicare. And there were a couple questions. Well, the individual that had done those, the previous billing clerk, had retired, so that information went back to her email address. And there was a gap there where we did not know that they wanted questions. So we've been continuing to try and jump through that hoop for Medicare for several months. We've just in the last couple of months gotten that squared away, and we're now going back and trying to back bill some of those claims. So you're going to notice in our revenue that there's actually a short decrease, but that's because of that, not because of not doing actions here. And I'll be glad to get you those numbers, but if you just look at the year end, which will be presented next week, then you'll notice that. So, but it has been positive. I pulled some numbers. I think she's somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 contacts, patient contacts in those days. So I can do that.
I think that would make it a little easier to determine whether the full-time is the way to go as opposed
Okay.
to contract. I mean, I don't have a problem with this, and it's clearly up to the other commissioners to decide, but even without having those billings done, you should have some kind of estimate of what
Yeah.
that should bring in, and with knowing the amount of patient contacts, approximately what she's bringing in, and I have no doubt that that will come out in the wash and be good. But I think it's important to have that before a decision is made to go to full-time,
Not a
for
problem.
me.
I can do that.
Carrie, in all fairness to the two new commissioners, could you put that back on the agenda in 2 weeks so they would have, could you present it to us next week so they can look at it and then we can make a decision in 2 weeks?
Sure.
Is that something you can do? That way they have time to look at it, Phil, before we make a decision. Because next week if they get it, well, I guess they're going to get it during the week, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. Put it on the agenda for next week because they will have it 3 or 4 days to look at anyway, once Carrie gets it.
Let's go with your first suggestion.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Because
We can do that.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
it doesn't come till the next
Next
one.
week will be a little crazy, too.
That's true, too. Carrie, while you're up here, you want to continue on with your grant?
Yes. Just like to formally let you know that we being EMS would like to apply for a Kansas Rotating Assistance Fund grant. It's a grant that they annually put out there. We have participated in that in previous years. I can think we purchased some radios, some ambulance cots, and some cardiac monitors with those. This year we're looking at some mechanical CPR devices, which has very positive clinical outcomes. Additionally, as importantly, is the safety issue to our staff members. So we'd like to move forward with applying for that grant. The higher that you match their grant funds, because they have somewhat, I think there's a little over $400,000 in the whole pot, and it's for all EMS services in the state. Equipment requires a minimum of a 25% match, but the more match you make, the higher percentage that you have of possibly getting the match, or getting the grant. So I suggested a 50% grant match, which comes out to $50,000. It's a $100,000 purchase for all 17 or 7 of those devices. And even though we do apply for 7, we may get 3, 4. So then the dollars will then correlate quarterly downward.
Looks good to me.
Yep, get her done.
I think you should do it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
And just personally, I'd like to thank both Commissioner Wassinger and Commissioner McClellan for all your
Thank
help
you.
and advice
welcome.
over the last several years. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, employee raises for 2019. County Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I just have a quick question before you start. I thought you were going to do this when the new commission was seated, not,
I was not. We're doing this because one of the commissioners was absent when it was considered before, but certainly it's an option to further defer it, but the direction was to bring it back when all 3 commissioners were present, not when the new commission was seated. So, thank you, Mr. Chair, County Administrator Philip Smith-Haynes. As we discussed back in December, we are in a bit of an odd year this year. Normally, in the past, raises for employees would have been negotiated with our union groups, and in the future, raises will be discussed with the Wage and Benefit Committee, but this year, neither of those processes really applied. So I've outlined a number of different options that the Commission could take to expend the funds that were budgeted for 2019 for this purpose. We could basically implement some more tiers of the pay plan as was sort of the plan that we were going with, but that would only affect about 41 of our 180 employees. So in lieu of that, we could spread the funds across the employee groups if we implemented something like that. This next pay period, it would be an across-the-board raise of about 1.44%, or we could approve some combination of those two things. Depending on how you stagger them throughout the year, you can approve a little bit of both. You could also refer this matter to the Wage and Benefit Committee for discussion. That committee was not in place in last year, but they have now formed. They have now elected a chair, and so they are available and I think somewhat interested in providing input if the Commission wishes. Or, of course, you could do nothing and save the funds, or, again, as was suggested, we could defer this decision again and have new commissioners weigh in. So, be happy to answer questions about those options.
I guess I like option 3 and 4, either split it or send it back to the Wage and Benefit Committee for their interpretation also and their input. That's my thought. Barb?
I was thinking that since we've developed the Wage and Benefit Committee, they need to have their input. If we put them in place, that's what needs to be giving, I think, the commission their opinion, and then the new commission can make a decision based upon their
Yeah,
wise counsel.
I would say 3, 4, or 5, either one.
We have a definite 4, we have a 3 and a 4, and we have a 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, so we're going to do 4.
We're going to do 4.
How
I
about
think
that?
that's the best.
That's got the most of it in votes.
Bill, we're going to do 4.
Is that okay?
Yes, thank you. And I will contact the chair of the Wage and Benefits Committee, and we will refer the matter to them, and it will come back to the new commission once they're seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Next item, County Councilor, Mr. Bill Jeter.
County Councilor Bill Jeter, I don't have a report. I also would like to thank Commissioner Wassinger and Commissioner McClellan for their service. And I don't think people realize how much time you put in as a county commissioner. And
Thank you.
I think both of you have put that time in and have made well-informed decisions, and I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Next item, County Administrator Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. One item this evening. County Clerk Maskus has noted, I believe she sent an email to commissioners, we have a director of the Munger Improvement District who is going to be moving out of that district. They are searching for someone
they
to
can't.
replace that individual, and so we will bring an item to the commission once we have a name as a possible replacement. And with that, I will pile on with the thanks. I've truly appreciated working with both Commissioner Wassinger and Commissioner McClellan. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work here in Ellis County.
No,
Okay. You want me to read it?
thank you.
Want me to read it?
Welcome to you.
Phil, you want me to read her resignation? Or not? No need to, we all know.
I don't think you
I-
need
Okay.
it.
No, there's
Okay,
no.
officially no.
Yeah.
Unless you want it part of the minutes.
Okay, we'll just include it in the minutes. We'll give it to Donna and include it in the minutes. County Commission Report. Marcy?
Well, since the holidays, I did attend the Ellis County chapter of Red Cross's 100th anniversary on Friday. It was a very interesting celebration. I didn't realize that Red Cross had been in this county that long. There were a lot of people there celebrating, and I think our emergency management man got roped into something he may want. They had some memorabilia that had been stored in the office in Salina that he and I decided was going to come to Ellis County. There's a lot of scrapbooks and plaques and so forth, so Darren Myers took charge of that at that meeting. So, otherwise, I'd like to thank my fellow commissioners, all the elected officials, and Phil and Bill for working with me for the last 4 years. And by the way, 4 years ago, on this night, it was cold. This has been an eye-opening adventure for me as an Ellis County taxpayer. I am proud of the fact that the sales tax was enough to complete the projects that were started and trust that they will soon be finished. This county has a very good working organization, so let's keep it that way. Our employees are diligent and loyal to their jobs. Our roads are some of the best in any county in the state of Kansas, all as a result of good employees. Thank you.
Barb?
Well, I think she said it all. It's been great to work with everybody, and I'm not going to stop serving Ellis County. I'm just serving Ellis County in a different position. So I won't be hidden, that's for sure. You'll see me around. So I want to thank everybody for their help, their support. It's been an honor to serve Ellis County in this capacity, and I'll miss you all. Scarecrow, I think I'll miss you most of all. So anyway, it's been wonderful, and I appreciate, there's no better place to live, I think, than in Kansas and here in Ellis County. We've got a pretty good thing going, and hard workers and wonderful people, so I'm proud to be serving Ellis County in the state legislature, so thank you.
Thank you both. I guess on my side of it, Bill, I guess we did get the check. You got the check, right? Got the check from the insurance company for using the cattle panel, so thanks again on Thanksgiving Day that we got to borrow them. To my fellow commissioners, it's been a lot of fun. We've done more things in the past 4 years than I think many commissioners combined ever did in the lifetime of Ellis County. We built a jail, we remodeled a courthouse, we got an EMS rural fire station, extension office redone. Thank you, Phil, on that. Your ladies, your names are on the plaques upstairs and over in the courthouse. So again, thank you for all of the ups and downs in that deal. Thank you for supporting me on making me your construction manager. I don't know if
I
that was,
apologize for any hair that was
Yeah.
lost during that, because I think.
when I started that, I had a full head of hair. I used to go get my hair permed. As soon as I took that job over, I started looking like Fillmore every day. But it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. Thank you both for putting your faith in me to complete them projects. Gonna miss you both. We had a lot of firsts in Ellis County.
Yes, we
First
did.
time we had two ladies ever serve on the Ellis County Commission, so. I
Number
was
1
glad
and
to-
2.
That's right.
Yeah, and I was glad to be part of that also, so. A lot of firsts. We got 2 new commissioners coming in, so that's gonna be interesting to start over again, but looking forward to that challenge with both of them. Both of them are here tonight.
I think
but-
you can whip them into shape pretty quick.
Well, you never know. We'll see what happens. As long as they don't gang up on me, we'll see what happens. But,
Make sure he doesn't bring the cattle prod.
but, Marcy, wish you well in your retirement for the
Yeah.
second time, I guess. So
Yeah.
hope you get to do what you want to do. Barb, looking forward to working with you in Topeka, and
We'll see you there.
looking forward to that challenge also. Wish you the best, and keep them all in line down there.
We promise that we will keep her in the loop.
That's right.
I'm counting on it.
Yes.
So, no, we're looking forward to that challenge also, Barb. So thank you
Which
for-
committee are you on?
Taxation, financial institutions and pensions, and every time higher education budget. Every time I change the order, it's like,
And you can't remember it.
if I
Okay.
could just keep it in the same way, I
Well,
would.
you'll definitely have some challenges in them
There
areas.
will be some challenges in that.
Yes.
So you get to whip the new governor into shape, so it should be just fine.
I'm sure she's very concerned about me.
She probably is. If not, she should be. If not, she should be. But again, thank you both for past years. It's been a lot of fun, but had some
Yes.
challenges. We made it
Good.
through the challenges, so we're going forward, so.
You ushered me in this job 6 years ago, and now you're ushering me out.
I know, it's a bittersweet moment to see you both leave, but it'll go on, so thanks again. And no other business brought before the commission this evening. We are going to adjourn at 5:23, Donna. Thank you all for coming.
All right.
That was good.